Hey guys, welcome back. So last time what we did is write the HTML code of our index.php page, and there isn't actually much left to do on this file because when we style it, we're going to do that in a separate file. So we've nearly done with this index.php page. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how you can send data from these two input fields to another page. And it sounds more complicated than it is. It's really, really simple if you haven't done it before. All we're going to do, okay, is start by putting a form element. So there's my opening tag, and I'm going to do a closing tag outside of those two input ones. So put the closing one, remember this slash, okay? And what I'm also going to do is go to there and press tab to move this across. And I'm going to highlight both of those input fields and then press tab, which will move them both over, just so it looks a bit neater. And I'm going to create some space below there as well. And it's worth noting that the spacing does nothing to the page itself. It's just easier for you to see. Inside this form tag, we just need to add two things. One of them is called action, and what the action is it's where you're going to send the data to. So this is going to be the page you're going to send the data to. And we're going to send the data to a page called search.php. And obviously we haven't created this file yet, so we'll get an error when we try and send the data to it. But eventually we'll create the page and the data will be sent to search.php. And the very last thing to do here is just say method equals, and the double quotes say get. And let's put that in uppercase characters, okay? And what this is saying is it's sending the data to search.php with a get method. Now, what is the get method? Well, the get method just means that we're going to retrieve the values from this form in the URL, okay? So you'll see the URL change in a minute, so that when we send data to this, the value that's entered into this text box will be inside this URL, okay? And you can see an example on that on pretty much any website you go to. If you go to Google, and you type something in, hello, and you'll see in here in the URL, oh, nice video, you'll see we have all this data in here, and we're sending, see it sent my query, the value I typed in there. And if I say something else, goodbye, you'll see it enters a new search term and another song, of course. But you'll see that I just changed the value in here just by changing the value in the URL. So we can do something similar to that. So what we've done is created a form, and we've moved these two input fields that we created last time inside of it. And you'll see, if we save that and type something in this search box, we have to refresh it first. Make sure you remember to refresh the page and type something in there. So I'll type dogs. Okay, I've already typed it before, you can see. But if I press enter or press search, you'll see we do get an error, of course, like I said, because we haven't created this page yet. But if I extend this, you'll see that we have this term equals dogs. And the reason we have term equals dogs is because we've said this name here is term, all right, and the value we entered is dogs. And if I change this to something else, sandwich, and go back to here, and then refresh the page and type something else in, hello, you'll see that we have sandwich equals hello. So whatever the name is what it's going to send through, okay? So I'll change that back to term. That makes a bit more sense than sandwich. So the very last thing to do here is just to create this search.php page, and then we'll be able to actually use these, the values we get from this form. So let's create our search.php page. But what I'm also going to do though is show you a better way to actually have this document in Sublime Text. So if I open, so go to File and go to Open like this, it's going to take me to our file right here. But if I go back to this htdocs, and instead of opening a file, if I just find my website, which is Doodle, remember, so I've got it up here, Doodle, and instead of going into there and then choosing index.php and opening that, if I click open on the folder itself, what it does is it opens exactly the same thing, but it opens it with in a project view. So all the files we add inside Doodle will be here. Any files, any folders will appear here. It doesn't look like much now, but when we start adding more files, you'll see how this is much better. So what I'm going to do is close this previous one down, and I'm going to use this one instead because this has the folder structure on the page too. But you can see if I click on index.php, it's exactly the same thing. I'm actually going to move this over so I've got a bit more space here. So anyway, like I said, we're going to create this search.php page. So go ahead and create a new file. So file, new file, and then we're going to save it right away. So save it in this Doodle folder, same as index.php, but save it as search.php. So search.php. Save it, and you'll see we have these two files now. We have search.php and index.php. So in the search.php, this is going to be our kind of search page like this. It's going to show us the results. But real quickly, just to show you that we can get the values from this form, we're going to open a PHP tag. So this is going to be our first use of PHP in this course. So the way you open a PHP tag is very similar to how you do an HTML tag, in the sense it has an opening tag and a closing tag. But it looks slightly different. So just copy this out, and then inside here is any PHP we want to write. So if I say echo hello, echo is just how you print things in PHP. If I refresh the page, you'll see we have hello right here. Okay, so echo just means print in PHP. So just to check this works, if I echo $_get, and I'll explain this in a minute, $_get, and then square brackets, and inside there, I'm just going to put term like this, save that, and if I refresh this page now, undefined index term, and I think that's because I still have my sandwich in the URL, we do, so what I'm going to do is go back to our home page and actually refresh it, and then I'm going to type in dogs or something like that, and then search, and you'll see it's echoed out what we typed in. So by echoing $_get term, it's echoed the value that's from the URL. Because remember, what I said get does is it retrieves a value from the URL. So in index.php, you'll see our text box had a name of term. So we're using that name here. We're saying get this value from the URL term. So it goes to URL and gets term and then gets the value. And that's it really. So just a real simple example on how we can actually type some value in and then retrieve the value from the next page.